Hi guys, I'm Leo. Welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective. In this video, I'll be doing something a bit different. I'm going to be rating my top 10 wrestlers of the year for 2023. So at number 10, I have Becky Lynch. She had a weird year, in my opinion, overall. Like, she hadn't had a single World Women's or WWE Women's Championship match. But she was the NXT Women's Champion this year, and she did elevate a lot of talent in NXT, the likes of Indy Hartwell, Tegan Knox, Tiffany Stratton, and of course Lyra Valkyria, proving that it's kind of proving that established women on the main roster can come down to NXT and elevate talent down there, unlike what kind of Charlotte Flair did back in 2020 when she more or less buried more talent than she did help. And Becky Lynch also had a run as the tag team champions with Lita. Her run was pretty mid from what I can remember, but we did get a very good but also long feud with Trish Stratus. As long as it was, though, we did get a half-decent steel cage out of it, which was probably the best part, or not one of the best parts of Payback. And yeah, after a year where it's kind of been up and down for her, obviously she's going to release her book, which I'm interested to read, and I know that it's going to be a big part of her social media next year probably. And she's got the feud going on with Nia Jax, which I assume she will win and then kind of leave at Raw Day 1 tonight. And then after that, she can start concentrating on the Royal Rumble and then going on to WrestleMania for a dream rematch, if you will, from NXT in 2019 against Rhea Ripley for the World Championship. But yes, overall, she's had a pretty good year. She's had 19 wins overall and 9 losses, 4 wins on pay-per-view and 15 on TV, resulting in a 67.8 win rate and 3 losses on pay-per-view and 6 on TV. But yes, not as impactful a year as she usually has, but still very good nevertheless. She has been all there and everywhere. NXT, Raw, SmackDown. She was in the War Games match, steel cage matches, and all sorts. So, as much as it's not been a World Championship year for Becky Lynch, she has still been doing a lot and been very busy and has had probably one of the best years as far as women in WWE go. At number 9, I have Bryan Danielson. 2024 is going to be the final countdown of Bryan Danielson's legendary career. And through 2023, like so many years in the past, Danielson has been cursed by injuries, whether it's his broken arm or his broken orbital bone. But, I mean, I did some research, and the last time Bryan Danielson did a full year was in 2019 when he was in WWE, and obviously that year he became WWE Champion as well. For this year, he's only missed 4 months. And the 8 months he's actually been around, he's had some absolutely brilliant matches with the likes of Zack Sabre Jr., more recently Eddie Kingston, the draw against Claudio Castagnoli on Collision, the Iron Man match against MJF at Revolution, and of course, the 2 matches with Ricky Starks, the strap match and the unsanctioned match, which were very, very good. And of course, the absolute classic he had with Okada, where he became the second person in Okada's illustrious 20-year career to ever tap him out, which is a massive deal. But though, with this pick, I do feel as though a lot of people might find he should have been higher, and I understand that. But for me, I just feel like the people that got higher on this list, I felt like they had better years compared. They haven't been injured. They haven't been. Some of them have been injured, but they haven't been as consistent. They've been more consistent as rather than Danielson, if that makes sense. But I'm expecting some big things out of Danielson this upcoming year. So with him being his kind of final career in wrestling, we're expecting to have some more dream matches like Okada, Zack Sabre Jr. I'd love to see him have a rematch with Moxley where one of them's shoulder isn't up at the end of it. And yeah, I feel like he's just going to go around having great matches with everybody until it's time to call it a day. Which I'm very much looking forward to. I've got a feeling he's going to be on this top 10 list again next year, as I don't know when Birdie's birthday is, so I don't know when she turns 7. But yes, looking forward to seeing where Danielson is in 2024. But for me, he only got 9 here just because I just preferred other people's years, and I felt like they had better matches. Though the matches Danielson did have, they were very, very good. And I don't want people to kill me in the comments because I put him at 9 and not like 2. Anyway, but it's a matter of perspective, so please don't kill me in the comments. At number 8, I have probably another controversial pick in Cody Rhodes. In Cody Rhodes' first full year in WWE after returning at WrestleMania 38 and then obviously getting injured, so returning at the Royal Rumble, but he has been a total workhorse this year. 29 matches over TV and pay-per-view. And yeah, he's proven that, like, and even on house shows, he's like, I think he's had the highest amount of matches out of any superstar in WWE this year, which is massive. But for TV and pay-per-view, he's 24-5-0 with like win-loss draw record, which puts him in an 82.7% win record, which is very, very impressive. And by that, like the 5 losses that he did suffer this year through TV and pay-per-view, just those, they were pretty big losses, which is why for me he's so low down on the list. Like, obviously there's the big loss against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania when he probably should have won it, and I'd probably stick by the fact that he should have won it, but then we wouldn't have got the bloodline stuff. So I don't know, it's kind of it's a matter of perspective, I guess, as far as whether Cody should have won or not. But I feel like he should have, but then as I said, we also wouldn't have got the bloodline stuff, so I'm not sure. It was followed by a huge clean victory over Brock Lesnar at the next pay-per-view, which was Backlash. He then would go on to lose the next one at Night of Champions, but he got his win back, and Brock Lesnar even raised his hand at the end of the match, which was a huge moment for Cody Rhodes, as Brock Lesnar, I think barely ever does that, or has never done that before. He had lost to Finn Balor in the tournament for the World Heavyweight Championship, but Brock Lesnar did cost him the match, so it's not a major loss. But with wins over Dom and Damian Priest, I suppose it's a big loss in a way of one Judgment Day member does have a win over him, which could come back to bite him in the ass if he were to win the World Championship this year at WrestleMania. And yeah, it's just, I think overall he's had, like, I don't know, I'm trying not to ramble too much, but like all on social media I've seen is like Cody's the best wrestler in WWE, he's number 1 in ESPN, number 1 Sports Illustrated, number 1 this and that. And I don't understand where this has come from, because there's other people in WWE who have been a lot better this year. And, the two that come straight to mind, Rhea Ripley and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has made the world, I'll talk about stuff later, I'm not going to get into that now. But for me, Cody just hasn't had the greatest year because he's lost when it's mattered the most. And, that can sometimes make or break people's years. And, we're going to get I feel like we're going to get another situation like that again this year, when he probably faces Roman again at WrestleMania 40, and he might lose again. And then what? He might have to change his story around because he's not going to win the title of Roman Reigns. You might have to wait till someone defeats Roman Reigns, which I think should probably be Seth Rollins if it's not going to be Cody. But yeah, I think it's just one of those things where, like, as I said, he's had great success throughout the whole year. Been, Royal Rumble winner, tag team title winner, one half of the main event at WrestleMania. But when it's mattered the most, he has lost. Like, I think he took the pin in the tag match to lose the tag titles. And yeah, I think that's what's marked him so far down for me, is the fact that he's supposed to be this unbeatable guy, but he's a bit of a bottle artist, And that's kind of what makes him down on the list for me. At number 7, I have Gunther. The Ring General certainly lived up to the title of being the Ring General this year. The reigning, defending, historic Intercontinental Champion. Gunther hasn't been pinned in singles matchups all year. And yeah, just becoming the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in history with a 570-day reign. And it looks like he's going to be the longest reigning combined Intercontinental Champion, as he's only 49 days off the combined days, which is held by Pedro Morales at 619 days. So I can't see him losing the championship within the next 50 days. So I think he's going to beat that record as well and literally become the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, or maybe compared with Chris Jericho, as he has held it the most times. But yeah, an absolutely fantastic run from Gunther this year. I think he's definitely ready to be put into the main event scene. You know, I can definitely see him being in the main event of the Bash in Berlin Premium Live event, going for the World Heavyweight Championship, if he's not already the World Heavyweight Champion going into that event. But yeah, I would definitely put... I mean, I would have put Gunther in the higher up in this list as well, same as Cody and Danielson. But again, the people who I have higher up, I feel like have just had better years. And also with Gunther is, as well, in trios matches or 6-man tag team matches with the other members of Imperium, he has lost almost every time, and it's kind of let his record down. His win records overall, singles and tag team, is only 71.4%, because the tag team matches with Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci have not been he's not got a very good record in multi-man matches, which is a huge shame. But yeah, it does let him down in this ranking at least. But I do have another video talking about people who should have better 2024s, of which Imperium is in that list. But yeah, I said some classic matches with the likes of The Miz, Chad Gable, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and Gunther just continues to show why they call him the Ring General, and I look forward to seeing what he's got in store for 2024, as I feel like it's going to be another huge year for Gunther. At number 6, I have Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. He's better than you, and he's certainly given it his best shot to show it this year. And yeah, becoming the longest reigning AEW World Champion in history. He's literally had the title for 363 days of this year. Obviously, his title reign started in November 22. But yeah, falling 2 days short to Samoa Joe after... Well, it wasn't after becoming victim of the biggest heel turn in AEW history, but that followed it in an absolutely brilliant match at World's End, which, you know, you can go watch my review of World's End. It was my last upload. I'll put it in the description or at the end of the video, or either way. You'll find a way to watch it either way. But yeah, this year, MJF didn't only prove the naysayers wrong about him being a fantastic wrestler. You know, he had the best Iron Man match of probably all time. He had the best Fatal 4-Way match of all time at Double or Nothing. But he also did what I was for sure thinking was going to be the impossible, which was he turned into the company's biggest babyface, which I thought, you know, he would never be able to do, because he is too much of a, not just massive heel, but an important heel as well in the history of AEW. But yeah, like over this past year, he has become one of the most liked people in the world, in the wrestling world. You know, I was there at All In when he had his match with Adam Cole, and Adam Cole's like the heel the whole match, and, you know, MJF was getting nothing but sympathy from the crowd, and that is carried on all the way up to now, where Adam Cole has properly turned on MJF, and the entire place of Long Island went absolutely crazy for it. So yeah, I do look forward to seeing what MJF's going to do in 24, but it kind of depends on where he is. Like, as far as we know, he's now out of contract. He's been removed from the roster page of AEW, and this whole bidding war of 2024 may be beginning, because MJF might not be an AEW wrestler to see this storyline out, as I'm sure WWE have a very big, close eye on him and bringing him in, even though me personally, I would have him stay in AEW. But again, I've got another video where that is mentioned. But yes, after an absolutely great year, been champion almost all year, and now we don't know what he's doing in 2024, which is exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time, just because of how impactful he's been through 2023, sorry. But yeah, I think is, like, I was looking back on his matches and stuff like that, and like I think he's only defended his title a handful of times, and yeah, he's probably been the best run, maybe not in the whole history, but he's been a lot better than most of the champions we've had so far. So, but yeah, nothing but positives for MJF in 2023, and I look forward from afar and nervously to see what he does in 2024. At number 5, I have Jon Moxley, and there's no argument Moxley is AEW's most reliable talent and will do anything to avoid going on holiday. Like, I mean, if it wasn't for Pepsi Phil doing Pepsi Phil things, he probably would have gone on holiday a few years ago after All Out. But after the whole Brawl Out from All Out thing, he didn't go, and he's still not been. But this year, for Moxley, hasn't been as championship filled. He was the international champion that he only held for, shocking when you look at it, 17 days. But he did defend the title 3 times in those 17 days. So, it's still pretty defensive, pretty impressive defenses if he'd carried on that kind of numbers and he'd held it a long time. But, it's still very good. And, for Moxley, most of this year has been just standout matches with the likes of Hangman Page at Revolution and on Dynamite, the Steel Cage match with Kenny Omega, Blood and Guts, Anarchy in the Arena, and Stadium Stampede, and most recently his almost perfect record in the Continental Classic, stealing wins off Swerve Strickland, getting very dominant wins over the likes of Roosh. And I think he only lost 2 matches in the whole tournament, one to Jay White right at the end of the league part, and of course 2 nights ago to Eddie Kingston in the final. But he lost to a very informed Eddie Kingston, and after the show of respect after the match, I'm sure that he had no issues with losing to Eddie Kingston. But this year as a whole has just been, I kind of describe it as, it's been bloody, there's been swearing, it's been violent, and just some absolutely fucking brilliant wrestling. And for now, whenever you hear wild things, it's going to be beautiful violence coming the opponent's way. At number 4, I have Chris Statlander, and at the start of 2023, if you told me that the standout woman for AEW would have been Chris Statlander, I probably wouldn't have believed you, because at the start of the year she wasn't even talking about coming back to the company after her injuries, and yet, after overcoming 2 torn ACLs in very quick succession, she's been absolutely killing it in 2023. And I think she returned in May or June. She's had just over 6 months of action, but having a 22-5 win-loss record and having a 174-day reign as TBS champion, defending it as often as maybe Orange Cassidy did in his reign, it's just one hell of a run of form. You could almost say her form was extraterrestrial from the former alien. But it's just a fantastic championship reign. She broke the winning streak of Jade Cargill, which was 62-0 at the time, and then sent her back into WWE. Statlander looks, and physically and performing in the ring, stronger and better than she ever has done in AEW. And 2024 could be another huge year for her, where hopefully for me she becomes, or at least gets close to, the AEW Women's World Championship instead of the TBS Championship, and making more history and becoming the first woman who's held the TBS and World Championship at the same time. And she's got this storyline going on with Stokely Hathaway, which I'm curious about, but I'm not sure how far it'll take her. Whether she turns heel or not, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'd buy her as a heel, because she's just been so likable in the whole time she's been in AEW. But I think she's got a huge year beckoning on making history again, and I'm very much looking forward to see what she does in 2024. At number 3, I have Orange Cassidy. For a man with no catchphrase, he has certainly made some huge statements this year, with a huge 45 matches on TV and pay-per-view this year, wrestling 2 to 3 times a week. I'm pretty sure at one point he did Dynamite, Rampage and Collision all in 1 week, which is something I don't think anyone has done this year, which is very, very impressive, and an absolute workhorse that he's been. But from huge wins from that over the likes of Jon Moxley, Jeff Jarrett, Swerve Strickland and Claudio Castagnoli, onto his historic reign as international champion at 326 days. He had a total of 30 defenses, which is a title defense just over 10 days between. He had a defense just over 10 days. I hope that made sense. Which shows incredible durability and resiliency from Orange, which is kind of funny from someone whose gimmick is being lazy, being the king of sloth style and stuff like that. But in my opinion, Orange Cassidy has been 100% AEW's MVP for this year. Jon Moxley referenced it in the promo package towards their first match at All Out. Anyone who isn't convinced by Orange Cassidy bloody well should be, because he is to be taken seriously and is arguably the best male wrestler in AEW currently. And yeah, I very much look forward to see where he goes in 2024, like everybody else on this list, of course. But, some of these standout matches from his international title reign was, his matches with John Moxley, both of them, against Buddy Matthews even, for the hell, so is what I know. Bandido and Rey Fenix when he won the title back. As far as combined days, he's on like 409 days as international champion through both of his. But yeah, I think once he won the international title back, he's just been getting matches here, there, and everywhere once again in the way that Orange Cassidy does. He didn't seem to be put off by the fact that the first reign beat him up so badly that he's again just throwing out title shots whenever and whenever he can, pretty much. And yeah, he definitely deserves to be recognised as the best wrestler in AEW in 2023 because he has fully deserved it. At number 2, I have Seth Rollins. Rollins has an absolutely stellar year compared to his very mediocre 2022. He's definitely got his flowers, though, for putting so many people over in 2022, as he, got the first reign and is still currently the World Heavyweight Champion of the reinvigorated World Heavyweight Championship, which is now held for 219 days and counting, but he might lose it tonight to Drew McIntyre, so it might just be 219 days. But after a total of 10 defenses in just over 7 months against 8 separate opponents, it's undeniable that he is a fighting champion, especially compared to one Roman Reigns, who has had like 11 matches this year, the lazy bastard. But yeah, I mean, Rollins' win-loss draw record is 27-5-1, with a slow start to the year with losses at the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber, but kind of brought it back around when he got a win against Logan Paul, and then he started the run towards the World Heavyweight Championship when it was rumoured it was coming around. He got a win over Omos at Backlash, and then yeah, he won the World Heavyweight Championship tournament, defeating AJ Styles in the tournament final, and has gone on to have some great title matches against the likes of Shinsuke Nakamura, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and even went down to NXT and defended it against Bron Breakker, which I don't think a world champion has ever done. So, not that I can remember, but I might be wrong. You can let me know in the comments, I guess. But yeah, he's just absolutely carried the company in the absence of Roman Reigns. Not that Roman Reigns has been gone, it's just that he's never here, as we all know and are frustrated with. But, for me, as much as a better champion compared to Roman Reigns that he is, I do feel like his championship reign is going stale. I probably would have had him lose the championship at Crown Jewel against Drew McIntyre, but as I said, on Raw Day 1 tonight, he does have a World Championship defense against Drew McIntyre, so maybe they'll change the championship around then. But then there is the case of CM Punk looming around, which it wouldn't shock me if Rollins kept it till WrestleMania and then lost it to Punk. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure how and where things are going to go between now and WrestleMania. But yeah, I mean, he's 100% been the best male wrestler in WWE this year. I don't understand how he's been voted so low by ESPN and Sports Illustrated and stuff, and Cody's been getting number 1 when Rollins has had a much better year than Cody, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to see what happens in 2024. Because as far as his feud with Punk is going to be fantastic when we eventually get there, which I think is guaranteed. If he does lose the title, I'd love to see him go to SmackDown in a draft, or just go there anyway because the draft doesn't matter, and challenge Roman Reigns again. And if Cody doesn't beat Roman, maybe Seth can do it. In my opinion, Seth is more deserving to be the person who beats Roman Reigns for the first time for the Universal WWE Undisputed Championship. But yeah, it's been one hell of a year for the Visionary, and I look forward to seeing what he does in 2024. And number 1, and my wrestler of the year for 2023 is Rhea Ripley. 2023 was the year of the Nightmare and the Eradicator, Rhea bloody Ripley. She let the WWE Universe know very early in that this was going to be her year. By winning the Royal Rumble from number 1. She's the first woman to ever do that in Royal Rumble history. This momentum took her to a main event caliber match against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, which is very highly regarded by a lot of people. Personally, I didn't see the appeal of that match, but you know, a lot of people did, so I'm happy about that, especially she got the win. She's held the Women's World Championship for 274 days and counting. I think she has a title match tonight against Ivy Nile, or just a normal match, but I can't see her losing the title there, so it will continue. I actually can't see her losing the title until at least the Elimination Chamber, because she'll defend it probably in the Elimination Chamber in Australia, which is where she's from, if you didn't know, which you probably did know. But yeah, her win-loss draw record for this year has been 19-3-1. Like, it's the 86.3% win rate. By far the best win rate for a woman in WWE this year, and has gone on an absolute tear. I'd probably say, in my opinion, she's probably had the best run for a woman since 2019, when Becky Lynch was probably just as dominant as Rhea has been this year. And yeah, Rhea's elevated the Women's Championship in its debut year. Obviously, it was the SmackDown Women's Championship, but having a new design, and calling it a new name, it needs to be elevated again, and she's done that perfectly with wins over the likes of, say, Charlotte Flair, Natalya twice, once in just over a minute, Zelina Vega, Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, Bayley, Candice LeRae, Lyra Valkyria, Dana Brooke, Raquel Rodriguez, and many, many more. Literally has ripped through the entire women's division, but hasn't faced Becky Lynch, which makes me speculate that Becky might win the Rumble, which I said in Becky's part when she was number 10 on this list. So yeah, just very enjoyable to watch her progress through the character that she's doing and progress up the card even more. I'd argue that she probably should have main evented WrestleMania Night 1, but I understand why they put the Usos, Zayn and Kevin Owens in that place. And yeah, I think like the list of people she can defeat is shorter than the people that she has defeated, which is huge for man or woman. She also broke down a barrier as far as as a woman having a match with a man. I know it was only Akira Tozawa, but it's still a big deal on WWE television, where they don't really like to do that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, for someone who's called the Eradicator, she has purely dominated the women's division in WWE this year, and has fully deserved the title of Wrestler of the Year for 2020. So those are my thoughts and opinions of who I think are the top 10 wrestlers of the year in wrestling. I mean, definitely just in WWE and AEW, but I do apologise. I don't think Impact wrestlers really stood out massively this year, so my apologies for that. And yeah, I think Rhea Ripley is the complete right choice, but of course I do. It's my choice. But yeah, do put in the comments who you think your Wrestler of the Year is, and why that is as well, and why you disagree with my picks, or why you maybe even agree with my picks. But yeah, I'll ask you to subscribe and like. There's a few more videos I've got about 2024 and the past year as well. And I've got matches of the year, people who should have better 2024s, and my predictions for 2024 coming up probably within the next week, or 4 videos to come out. And then yeah, I'll move on to doing predictions for Hard to Kill, and I've also got a video about Karrion Kross's new faction coming up as well, so I'm going to be quite busy uploading stuff hopefully. But yeah, if you do enjoy the content, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment down below any feedback from me as well, and as I say, your Wrestlers of the Year too. And I'll thank you guys for watching, and see you guys later.